Another early morning rise and bimble through the hills in the wee little Wolseley. This morning's destination is the Friends of Steve McQueen car show in Chino, California. Now, this is an all-make and model show that is a fundraiser for the Boys Republic, which is a rehabilitation school and training facility for kids in trouble. And Steve McQueen attended there as a kid and was a huge supporter of the school throughout his career. And now, after his passing, in his memory, the car people come out in force to raise funds for this amazing charity to help these kids have a better life. And the cars come out in droves. Here's a little pass-by of some of the cars that are out there. It's really a spectacular array of stuff, and I can't wait to show you all the details of the stuff that I saw that I really loved. Now, one of the things that was at the show that I really want to share with you is this Mustang. Now, this Mustang was a part of the estate that I was dealing with. This is back a year or two ago. This was in a garage of a good family friend. This car has family history. It was one that was kept by the family. This was the estate that had the little rocket car in it that you may have remembered the videos. In any case, this car was always a member of the family here, and it was decided that this one would be kept and that it would go off and be restored. So for the past year and a half, it has been in a restoration shop, and its reveal, its first show, is here at the Steve McQueen Car Show. So as you can see, they started out with a fairly decent car, but boy, it needed some upgrading. And upgrading it got. Check this baby out. Project Granny is done. And it is an absolutely stellar mild rod now with a hot little motor in it, a 302 in there. Its owner Marie and her brother Mike with his 65 convertible were proud Mustang displayers at the Steve McQueen Car Show. That's for sure. Thank you for the drum roll, Mr. Henry J. Here is the Wolseley lined up next to a beautiful little Peugeot sedan. Lots of foreign cars in one area where I was hanging out, but it is primarily an American car show. However, everything is welcome. Some really cool cars, be them modern sports cars to vintage stuff as well. Customs, classics, everything is on display. Incredible looking Ford GT here. The Steve McQueen XKSS Jaguar out here from the Peterson Museum. Fun to see that car on display. This is a class car, something that the school is doing to run through a demolition derby, and you could donate a little money and sign your name upon it. Motorcycles, also a big part of Steve McQueen's life and a big part of the Steve McQueen Car Show. This custom BMW was one incredibly stellar piece. Love the detailing on that. Super, super cool. Some other Airhead BMWs were there, restored to perfection. Absolutely fantastic. Now, the car show did get a little bit jumbled up. As you can see, that's no Mopar, but they were budging at the seams, just busting at the seams with places to put cars. Normally, there's about 450 cars, and I believe there were over 600 in attendance at this year's show. So they were parking them anywhere they could. The whole goal is to raise funds for the Boys Republic. Everybody had a good time, even if they weren't necessarily sitting next to the flag that matched their car. Lots of great details as you walk around. I loved this cool Ford Speedster, Model T Speedster. Love the crowd that was around it. You've got a Crosley Super Sports next to some crazy blown hot rod truck. I mean, variety is what it's all about when it comes to this Steve McQueen event. I absolutely love seeing the huge variety of cars and all of the people that come to attend it as well. Twin turbos on a Di Tommaso Pantera? Sure, bring it on. What a beast. In any case, as I wandered around, I really those aren't Corvettes. I really tried to capture as many photos as I could. It would have been fun to be parked with the other Minis, but it was still kind of fun to see them spotted here and there. Beautiful, mild custom Z here. Love the color, love the wheels. This Nash caught my eye as it was rolling in. I love these big bathtub Nashes. I don't know what it is that draws me into them so much. Such a unique looking automobile. And love the Piggly Wiggly license plate topper. Lots of traditional hot rods out there. Some of the big California hot rod clubs were there on display with all of their club buddies and stuff. Kind of cool to see Cal rods and the drifters and things like that. Beautiful Cadillac convertible, not too different than one of the cars we're going to be pulling out of the estate out in the California desert here shortly. Loved this custom boogie van. This is a van that was restored by a friend of mine, Jeff, and his wife, Susan. Incredible, absolute show machine there. There's even a toy that's made of the boogie van. Loved the little electric cart back behind that giant cab-over truck. Porsches, a huge display of Porsches on there. One of the major supporters of the event is the SoCal 356 Porsche Club. They are involved with setting up a lot of the show and promoting it and pushing stuff around. And there was a nice variety of 356s on display. Definitely cool to see those cars. I love them dearly, being a longtime owner of one. Modern Porsches as well. Cool to see those. Air-cooled Volkswagens were on display as well. There were a few special cars that were on display inside the tent. Every year they theme the show after one of Steve McQueen's movies, and this year it was The Great Escape, so some of those vehicles were ones that were used in the film. Drag cars, they had an incredible selection of drag cars, vintage ones lined up, and at a couple points during the day they fired these beasts up and you could hear them for miles around. Drag boats, a nice display of those as well. Loved that Topolino, so old school, so crazy. Front engine dragsters. People were absolutely insane to be driving these cars at the speeds that they drove, but that was racing back in the day. This 55 Chevy, it was a Survivor. That is all original graphics and everything. Marcel's custom-bodied sports car there was on display. Beautiful car. Here's a bunch of the Cal Rods Club cars. Here was a drag motorcycle that was in one of the booths. I mean, there is absolutely something for everybody at the Steve McQueen Car Show. If you've never been to this event, I highly suggest you check it out when it comes around. They've been doing it now, I think, for about 17 years, and it gets bigger and better and wilder and cooler every single time that I've gone. It's definitely on my hit list every year, and it should be on yours as well. Loved this. Willie's here, old school, Truth, Justice, and the American Way. Gotta love the signboard there. Modern military vehicle. This is the replacement for the Humvee, apparently. And that was out there on display in a military group booth. And kind of fun to see that modern technology. I'm sure that thing was pretty expensive, and I'm sure we all paid for it somehow. Lion Air Museum was out with a couple of vehicles that were motorcycles that were part of Steve McQueen's collection. This particular one, this Panther, is a spectacular bike, and it was restored and detailed by none other than Von Dutch. And if you look close at some of the details on this, you can see Dutch's brushwork and hand painting in there and some of his fun little details. Check out the gauge there, painted by Von Dutch. This is absolute history on wheels. I've always been a huge fan of Von Dutch and Steve McQueen and vintage motorcycles, so this thing really turned me on. Also, vintage aircraft on display at this year's event. That was a real treat to see these radial engine biplanes on display. And later in the day, they fired all these things up and flew them off. And I did get some video of that, so please hang out till the end so you can see these things and hear them fly up into the sky. Really fun to see those planes on display there. Absolute history, and it just added a neat vibe to it. I don't recall seeing aircraft before at this event, and it was great to see. Now, one thing that they have done before and were doing in force this year was a whole display of military vehicles and equipment. Really awesome to see this historic military stuff. This tank, Hannibal, they actually had that tank out running and driving out in the field. They did a whole little play of sorts, a little reenactment of the Great Escape film, and used that tank, and were blowing rounds out through the front of that thing, which was really awesome to see. Love these old military trucks, the Jeeps, even up into some more modern day stuff like that GMC and this Hummer right here. Neat variety and people dressed in period uniform as well. There was a whole display of modern overlanding trucks, which was really awesome. That Toyota with its rooftop tent, definitely attractive. The guard dog here kept me from climbing up inside. Some really amazing rigs. I mean, man, people are going all out with these things, spending some serious money to create some fun off-road adventures. And I love seeing that. Let's see, what else do we have here? A couple more of these overlanders. And then as I walked around, they also have a display of some really amazing vintage power engines. So vintage tractors and these guys. Love the sound of these things when they're running. Super cool. Nice variety of those. Absolute history going on there. This one with its belt drive running a coffee grinder. Really awesome. Big, little, everything. So fun. That one's sawing a little piece of wood. This guy's starting up this little tiny one here. It looks like he's given up. But anyway. This one with the water pump was pretty fun. Another water pump there with mannequin pumping. Another saw cut through a big old beam of steel. And that one was my absolute favorite. The noises it made were incredible. Vintage tractors on display, some beautiful restored little farm implements there. Fun to see these things, and again, expanding the variety of what's on display there. So there's absolutely something for everybody. Loved this little speedster. That was one cool little car. This beautiful 34 Packard showed up, and this was absolute high-end, fresh restoration. Gorgeous, gorgeous car. Some more cars filled in around the McQueen car there as well. Fun to see the hood open on that incredible car. This one here by Gary Wales, this wild, fantastic Bentley Speedster creation, one of his wild cars. Always fun to see Gary and his toys. Cool little Ferrari Dino there. Some vintage police cars on display as well. I mean, there is seriously something for everybody. But if you're a Mustang fan, then you definitely have to show up to the McQueen Car Show, because Mustangs are a big part of the theme. The movie Bullitt being obviously one of McQueen's biggest films. There's a whole bunch of cars that come out that are replicas of the Bullitt Mustang. And you'll see some of those lined up here in a bit. Loved that 409 powered hot rod. I thought that was a cool looking engine choice. This big Cadillac with its fancy hats on the rear deck looked like a real fun cruiser. Another nice hot rod there. Loved that. This big Buick caught my eye. What a monster this was. Great colors. Loved the Mexican blanket in the back of that Chevy truck. Definitely cool stuff. Let's see. Here's some of the Bullitt Mustangs here. Really nice to see the level of detail that these guys go to try to replicate that historic McQueen car, including this one with a cutout of McQueen at the wheel. This wild rat rod was super fun. Lots of neat details on that. Another cool little traditional hot rod there. This one, a very non-traditional hot rod, but certainly fun to look at. Willies love that body style. This guy was dressed up in military dress and was announcing the reenactment stuff they were doing out there in the field. Fun to see that. And then, of course, my wee little Wolseley in the lineup there, along with everything else. This E-Type Jag was super cool. There was a flyover from this big bomber. I don't know what kind of plane that was, but it was certainly entertaining to see it and hear it and feel it go across. Nicely restored Mustang there. This Rothman's themed Porsche Dakar is a cool piece. Loved this tall hot rod here. Check out that interior. It had a full chrome Jag rear end in it as well. This Woody Mini was beautifully done. Love these early Dodge Chargers with the hidden headlights. AMX with the side pipes, definitely a cool ride. This all-black Olds Tornado kind of caught my eye, looked pretty evil and proper. Even a tricked-out Tesla showed up to prove that there is room for everybody when it comes down to the automotive scene at the Steve McQueen Car Show. A couple more details of that Nash. I kept going back and looking at that. Definitely a fun machine. Personalized plates are kind of fun. One of these days I'm going to have to go around to these shows and just take pictures of personalized plates because it's always entertaining. In any case, as we round up the walk around of all of these cars, I definitely want to invite you guys to come out to see the Steve McQueen Car Show when that happens, and also check out the Boys Republic as far as what they're doing for the youth that really need our help. It's a cool place, a great charity, a neat facility, and really fun to do something at an event like this that supports them in such a great way. A lot of money was raised for these folks there, and well-deserved and put to good use. A couple more details of the cars in the show as we wind everything down here for the day. Over the announcement, they said that it was time to fire up the aircraft, and well, I absolutely couldn't miss that. So I'm going to step back here and you guys can see these vintage aircraft fire up and take off. I hope you enjoyed the walk around of the Steve McQueen Car Show. Fly ahead, folks. Thanks for watching.